Hey everybody. Let me get y'all some music so that y'all can listen to it before, because I have to do something really quickly. I'm happy to be here. Some of y'all were asking me if I would go live. And so I was like, let me just do this live stream since y'all tagged me in the video. I'm gonna tell y'all what video in a minute. Jump.
Bitch, let's talk about what's really. You say you got that swelling, but you out here with that shit. Sweet nigga, you look like a pillar, and now I ain't no killer, but I'm having you for dinner. I got time today. You need to watch the work that you say. You been hitting every way to get up just like every day. Because it's time to play. Over there looking like young M.A. Say you the truth, well, how I swear. Cynthia, now how you get paid. Why you wanna talk? You won't know what you talk about, nigga. Why you in the house? What you talk about, nigga? Why you wanna shout from you out? You go rock out, get up. Dick all in your mouth, with rock, with the shout out to Texas.
Okay, so all right, well, let's get into it. How are y'all doing? I got a little bit of time today, and there was this video that I was tagged in on TikTok. Can I tell y'all something about TikTok though? I don't really like TikTok. Y'all, I gotta be honest, I don't really like TikTok. I gotta be honest with y'all. TikTok is nasty. It really is. And I feel like it is because it's just oversaturated with bandits at this point. And bandits doing really the same thing that they've been doing, which is spread their bandit propaganda, really. I mean, that's kind of all I can say about the situation. But ever so often I'll go on TikTok because one of my sisters send me videos on TikTok too. Like she'll reference me and be like, okay, here's some content for you that you can, just turn it into content or respond to it. And that's fine, but I just prefer not to be on TikTok. So, but I do get a lot of people tagging me in it. But anyway, so I wanted to come on here. And this isn't the first time I've seen this video. I do want y'all to know that I've seen this video multiple times. Actually, back in the day, a bandit, because this whole welfare took me out of the house and Black women are the boogeyman and was so treasonous because they took welfare even though we couldn't provide for our own children. That's been a narrative that's been going around here for a very long time. The only thing is that bandits, when they say that welfare removed them from the house, they don't really understand what they're saying in totality. It basically says that a welfare program had more to provide to your family than you did. So really, when they tell you that welfare removed them from the house, they are telling you that they were broke and that they had no business being the head of a household because they couldn't afford a household. That's essentially what they're telling you. Now, there's been video evidence all over of these whining, crying bandits who largely, it's really interesting because as I'm going through these videos, I don't really see them saying anything negative about welfare. And I'm going to tell y'all something. There was a specific point in time when you start hearing bandits screaming, oh, welfare took us out the house, welfare took us out the house. And if you do the research, you're going to see that it was the exact moment that Black women start talking about how a lot of the ills of the community and how there was a lot of research, psychologists, sociologists who kept coming out saying that, like Daniel Patrick Moynihan, that the issue in the community was fatherlessness and Black male antisocial behavior. Now, When we looked at the Moynihan report, we already read all up and through it, that basically since they stepped off the plantation, they were not providing for their families. Now, we'll let them say that they were, but there is no era in time where they were providing for their families, being husbands, raising children, being good fathers by and large, and that was whether they were married or unmarried. This is why I tend to get annoyed when I hear people or other content creators, and I'm not talking about anybody specific. I told you guys, if I am talking about somebody specific, I will say their name. If I'm not, I'm just talking about hating ass, dusty ass bitches in general. So, but this is not about hating ass bitches. I just have to put that to the side anyway. If I have to address somebody specifically, I will do it specifically. If not, it's to whom it may concern. You may or may not be a hating ass, raggedy ass, basic ass bitch, but nobody is really trying to measure that today. So if I want to call somebody that specifically, I'll say their name, like Destiny Child, hashtag. But anyway, like I was saying, you can track history. And if you look over it, when Black men started using this welfare excuse was right along the time when the community started being pathologized. Because when you look at these videos, and we're going to go over them, you're not going to hear them talk about welfare as a problem. In fact, a lot of these bandits embraced welfare. They liked welfare, especially when they themselves were getting it, which was before you. That's like the tea, though. The tea on this situation is that bandits are the real original welfare queens. They were using welfare before you got it, and they got more welfare than you got, and they are still on welfare right now. Even in 2023, as you have bandits running around talking about in the 1960s, welfare took them out of the home, they are currently in the home on welfare. A lot of them are. Because welfare isn't anything gender-based, and now the welfare laws have been modified to an extent that anybody really can get on welfare. It's about income. And we saw how ignorant they are. We saw how they don't really know what they're talking about when we saw that interview by Destiny and the Angry Bird, but we didn't even need that interview to come out to know that they're nothing ass bitches and they never know what they're talking about. But because they're nothing ass bitches, they have always enjoyed welfare up until their community began to be pathologized, and then they needed an excuse. They needed an excuse as to why they were not in the home. And they're not going to come out and say, oh, we weren't ever in the home. We were never interested in being fathers. So we will leave the home for any reason. We were creating multiple families when we couldn't afford them. Even when the women were married, they were married single mothers. They're not going to say any of that. They're not going to tell you the truth. Now, there's a difference between the bandits of the old and the bandits of today. The bandits of the old was a little bit more honest about their bandit behavior than the dudes are today. So that's why you hear them talking about they go take their raggedy passports and go spread poverty dick in other people's community that's already impoverished, mind you. They're sitting up here talking. It's like, look, bandit, you can buy love in your own community. Keisha up the street will submit to you if you buy her a stove. You don't got to go all the way to Thailand. Like, you really, can I tell y'all how pathetic and weak and weird these bandits are to be advertising online, that they are so pathetic and ineffective that they can't even pay the women in their own country to love them? Because rest assured, they ain't about to get no free love overseas. They're too poor. You can just look at any man, regardless to race, to a woman in a third world country. Any man, regardless to race, is a lick. It just is what it is. They're a lick. So if these women are expressing interest in you, the Philippines, Thailand, Colombia, whatever, I remember having to tell this dude that I knew, okay, you're a lick. This chick has no genuine interest in you, except the American dollar. So you have to be the biggest losers on the planet to be sending out a public memo that, hey, I am such a failed struggle bandit. My mentality is so depraved and degenerate that I can't even pay the women in my own country to submit to me. I gotta go all the way overseas and buy broke bitches stoves just so they'll give me attention. Let me tell this chick over here, I'll get her a sofa and maybe she'll suck some dick. Like, really? You flying across the country so women can suck dick for sofas? I can't. And they calling in high value. Like, look, y'all, if y'all don't let these bandits go, bye bandit, because like, for real, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, or Satan, or whoever created you. I don't know who created them, but anyway. Yeah, but you got dudes out here, it's like, y'all are pathetic. And then they're sitting up saying, there was no point in time where white men were ever on any public platform talking about how they're traveling overseas to get women, mind you, so that they can pay women to give them attention because they can't pay women in their own country. I thought y'all had Becky and them. Like, what happened? Oh, they already turned Becky and them into single moms at an increasing and alarming rate. Becky is getting tired of getting the same black man, so that's a dead end too. Because guess why? Becky on the same social media platforms that you own, complaining about bad behavior, tossing them out the home with their 3 trash bags. I saw the videos. Don't make me put one up. I saw the videos. But the fact of the matter is, this is an old struggle bandit pathology that they don't want to change. And I don't know why black male worshipers think they can do something to get bandits to change. Bandits are showing that they don't want to change. And the minute that you start telling them to do something, they're going to find a different group of women that they think are dumber, that they think are easier, that they think have nothing. Because really, they think if they think that these women are going to embrace them of all groups of men, then they think very poorly of them. Because look, y'all get internet everywhere, including in the Philippines. I watched 90 Day Fiance. We all saw Tariq get tricked out by that Filipino woman who didn't like him and kept saying she didn't like him. He was a passport bro too. Put a 1 in the chat box if y'all know which passport bro I'm talking about for 90 Day Fiance that got read and tricked out and licked like the sucker he is on 90 Day Fiance. Put 1 in the chat box if y'all know who I'm talking about. Because I know Tariq on 90 Day Fiance sure was getting tricked out, made to look stupid on 90 Day Fiance. He took his little raggedy passport all the way to the Philippines, only for this woman, and it's still recorded, only for this woman to literally talk about how she didn't like him, how unattractive he was. Him and his brother went and got them some Filipino throwbacks. And I was like, look, if I'm going overseas to pay for some attention, it ain't gonna be from a throwback. So y'all got y'all's passport, you high value, but you can't even pay for attention from women who are actually desirable. You paying and you still getting throwbacks. How? I just want to know how you take your passport and your American dollar over to the Philippines and you still getting throwbacks. That's what I learned from 90 Day Fiance, that even when these bandits do have some kind of so-called high value status, your high value status is still only getting you a throwback. Look, y'all can let them Filipino women get on TikTok. Girl, come get them. I'll help you. I'll tell you where the bandits are in every zip code, area code. Please come get them. Somebody send that chick and tell her to come over here and I'll tell her where the bandits is at. She ain't got to worry about nobody standing in her way. Girl, don't let us stop you if you don't go get these bandits so they can become your burden because we tired of dealing with them. We can find a couple Beckys. They'll tell you they tired of dealing with them too. They didn't listen to us. They wish they did. Now they sing in the baby mama blues all over social media because they didn't want to listen to Black women when we said, oh, okay, you getting the same Black men. They just said, well, no, I got my wife standing my blood here. At least at least I got real. I'm better for the Black man because I don't stretch him out and I don't ask him where he's going. That aged well. That aged well then. How did that work out for you? Because all that got you was a heartache and a baby mama and a line in a food set. All that got you was on the Section 8 lottery list. It got you an EBT card and it got you single mother status to a biracial child. That's all that got you. Aged real fast. That aged real fast. How long do you think it's gonna take for them to drag they dust all across the foreign lands? But I'm gonna tell y'all what, I bet you they won't go to Europe. I bet you won't see them in Paris, France. You won't see them there. You won't see them in Germany. You ain't gonna see them nowhere where men of no color are the majority. You can best believe they gonna keep their raggedy nothing asses in third world countries where there's no male competition and they're competing with a raggedy dollar and you still getting throwbacks. You still go get throwbacks. You don't ever hear these bandits talking about they getting a passport so they can go to London. Why ain't you going to London, bandit? What, the competition's too stiff? You already know men of no color will run you all the way up and through there. Why ain't you taking your passport to Greece? Oh yeah, they already showed you what they do when you come over to Greece when they stumped out that bandit who thought he was going over there and flexing. They already showed you what was up. The military is very controlled. They don't get free reign to just run amok when you in the military. I know my sister is married to somebody in the military. You do not get free reign to run amok. Their behaviors are controlled. Can they run around slinging dick? Yes, but you can best believe when you in the military, you ain't about to destabilize nobody's country with your dust. You won't do it in a European country. They can be in the military. They ain't about to sit up there and do that in London. And we know that because we would hear about it. We would hear about it. They know where they can go. So y'all can say, oh, they in London too, and make it seem like they got free reign. They know exactly where they can go. And you ain't never heard them mention no European country. Take that over there to Canada then. Take it over there to Canada and see what happens. Think you about to get your passport and go over there and create a bunch of baby mamas? Go ahead. Do that if you want to. They're going where they know or where they think there's very little regulation from the males. Why do you think Andrew Tate had himself over there? And I forgot what that country was. It is because he looked up the laws. He thought his degeneracy would be loosely regulated. And now he's sitting up over there in a prison. Andrew Tate thought that too. They know where they research and look for places where they can spread their degeneracy. They know they ain't about to take that to no European country. They ain't about to do that. They already know what will happen. And they can't afford those women. Because guess what? Your dollar in London don't have as much value as it do. And it don't have as much value as it do even in the US, let alone in the Philippines, let alone in Colombia. In the slums of it, they couldn't even go do that openly in Mexico. They would have to go to the slums of Mexico in order to do that. They know where to go. Listen, ain't nobody saying that Black men ain't who they are in every country. There's a difference between them taking their passport bros movement, which is sex trafficking and tourism, versus you just having some bandits being bandits who are naturalized citizens in that country. There's a difference. They ain't about to pack up with their passports and run over to Canada being bandits. They telling y'all where they're going. They're telling you where they want to go. And they're actually telling you why they want to go there. They know exactly where to go, to where they think this behavior is going to be okay. Exactly. King China, I think they ain't hearing me. Didn't that dude get stomped out in Greece by them Serbians? So, I mean, look, go to a European country and a black man go learn real fast what's going to happen if he go over there and get into tripping. Wasn't that dude, I forgot his name. The dude, it was a viral story, went over there to Greece, thought that he was big and bold and could choose up on a man of no color's woman, or that he could just be roughshod going in there talking to any woman. Those Serbian men stomped him out. Did he even make it 24 hours in there? Did he even make it a weekend with his banditry? No, because he got stomped out. That's why. Because they ain't about to sit up there and put up with that. You don't get to go to a European country, think you got rough shot, you can do whatever you want to. They not going to take that. They literally stomped him out like those 5 bandits stomped out Tyree Nichols. They don't play over there. They not about to play with black men in a European country, and they know this. And they ain't scared of you. They want all the smoke. They want you to come over there. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Did y'all see those pats on the back that they gave the Serbians who did that to that Bakari Henderson? Exactly. And bandits were running around crying all over the place. And when I said another one bites to death, and it really is. But you know what? It showed black men, don't bring your passport over here and get to tripping. That's what it showed them. It showed them if you bring your passport over here and you get to stripping, this is what's going to happen. You go get stomped out just like Bakari Henderson. Play with it if you want to. Play with him if you want to. That's why they're not going to European countries. They go keep that right in those third world countries. They go keep it right there. Those Serbians ain't playing with you. They not playing with you. Men of no color ain't playing with y'all. That's why you ain't going to no European country. I know exactly what these pathetic bandits are doing, please. Their card has been pulled. I'm waiting for black women to catch up. I'm waiting for the masses of black women to catch up. I've been pulled their card. Now they stupid, but they ain't that stupid. They reckless, but they ain't reckless enough to run over into China doing that. They ain't gonna take that bandit behavior over there to Japan. I bet you they ain't gonna take that banditry over there to Japan. Tell them to go over there to North Korea and think they about to get a Korean woman. Take their little passport to North Korea. I bet you they won't do it. They know exactly where to go. But anyway, anyways, because that dude who been sentenced to a firing squad, oh, he was a passport bro too. And guess what? China is showing them exactly what they gonna do if you get over here acting reckless. They know where to go. No, they ain't about to go to Russia either. They ain't gonna go to Russia. They already know, please. They know how Russians get down. They know how Russians get down. Like, again, you're talking about cowardly bandits who don't want to deal with other races of men. That's what you have to think. That's in their pathology. Their pathology is, I'm a cowardly bandit. I don't want to have to deal with other groups of men. I know I can't compete with other groups of men when it comes to other women. Where can I go? Oh, to the sons of Thailand. Oh, yeah, the Philippines. Let me just go slum in the black part of Colombia with the throwbacks who are considered undesirable. And let me go see if I could trick off this American dollar and get them to pretend to like me and pay some attention to me. Y'all are pathetic. Y'all are really pathetic, and I'm over it. Anyway, listen, they ain't going to India because those women are too dark. They ain't about to go to India where most of the people are dark skinned. These are white chasing bandits. There's way too many dark skinned people in India for them. They ain't about to go. Well, go to India for what? If they get one of them women pregnant, their babies is gonna look the same. India for what? They want something white. They're going where they can most likely find a rejected almost or something white in the slums of somewhere. And they ain't about to step foot on India and do what? They might as well stay here and create kids with you. They gonna come out like, why? For what? Most of them ain't about to look like Kamala Harris. She is mixed. Most of them are probably gonna be darker than you are. I don't know if y'all saw how dark-skinned Indians are, but a colorist, white worshiping bandit ain't about to step foot in India. They ain't about no, because that's literally all they're going to get. With India in a caste system, they ain't gonna even, listen, the closest they would get to being with a white Indian is to look at one online. And if y'all go talk to some Indians about how they feel about Black people, go talk to them. Go talk to them, because I'll tell you, they ain't about to go into no India. They ain't gonna go into India. Unless they go to Sri Lanka or somewhere like that, where it's people who, oh yeah, they look as just as dark or darker than you. Exactly. They ain't about to go nowhere where nobody's dark as them. They want the Ethiopian women because they're heavily European mixed. That's why. They just call it, what was that that supposedly went into Ethiopia? Persia, the Persians, because they're heavily mixed with white Persian from that invasion. But anyway, that's why they would want these Ethiopians, because of their white Persian lineage from being over there. But anyway, I want to go over this video because these bandits are still sitting up trying to run this okie doke on Black women. And so far, I think we've done a pretty good job of proving that welfare never put them out of the home. But when I was looking at this video, because y'all know what I come on here and I tell y'all all the time, the mindset is the problem. The mindset is the problem. And it's not just the mindset of these struggle bandits, it's the mindset of Black women too, because Black women are tied to Black men. Black women are the wombs who choose to give birth to Black men. Black women are the creators of Black men. In order for these bandits to run amok and be able to do this for generation after generation after generation, Black women's mindset has to be in a certain point, in a certain space too. Black women's mindset has to be in a certain space too. And it has to be a Black male worshiping, lax standards. I'm going to overlook all of your banditry and get with you for very superficial reasons. Now, I'm going to share the screen. I'm only going to go over 30 minutes of this. I'm only going to go over 30 minutes of this. But I want y'all to listen to the pathology. And I actually wrote down what I heard in here. Hang on a minute, y'all. I need to run and get my tablet so I can, because I need to be able to see the chat box. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Okay, so I was showing you guys the wrong screen. Okay, so here we are. And this one is called the Vanishing Black Family. Mindset determines behavior. People are not just running around doing stuff just to be doing it. They're doing stuff because they think a certain way, either subconsciously, consciously, or both. They believe a certain way. So that is what is going to be the primary driver of your behavior. If the mindset does not change, the behavior cannot change. It's just not possible. I want y'all to understand that, because a lot of Black women are confused as to why Black men's behavior is still the same way. The reason their behavior is still the same way is because they have the same mindset. If you don't have mental progression, you cannot have physical progression. It's just not going to happen. That is why a huge piece of therapy that's used in psychology is called cognitive behavioral therapy. Because it's basically saying we got to change your mindset so your behavior can change. That's what cognitive behavior therapy focuses on, changing the way you think, changing your mindset so that your behavior can change, because you're not going to change if your mind don't change. When we go through this, we're going to discuss whether Black women and Black men's minds have changed. Has their mindset changed? Because we know the behavior hasn't changed. It hasn't. But has the mindset changed? Don't just focus on what you hear these bandits saying. We're going to listen to what Black women are saying as well. Thank you, Tia and Tom. She said, I've been a Cindy supporter back when she did car vlogs. I've seen her grow from a baby bird into a fierce eagle. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So we're going to listen to 30 minutes of this.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father. One. Don't plan to get married. Why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. You know, it's a lot of responsibility, and then you don't want the commitments.
I don't want no man holding me down, because I don't think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father.
My father wasn't in the home, so you know, it really, male figures are not substantially important in the family.
Now listen, did you hear why she believes male figures are not important? Why? Because look, a bandit can sit there and a bandit will be like, well, she said she need no man. She said she independent. Didn't we hear that when the bandits were talking to Destiny and he said, why? Why do they think they don't need a man? Because a man has not been there. Her father, she said her father, my father wasn't there. So I don't think a male figure is really important in a household. She thinks that because her bandit of a father showed her that his presence was not really needed in the household. Because even if he was there in the last video we saw, he couldn't even afford a half gallon of milk. If you can't provide nothing, then your presence is not needed. Her daddy showed her that. And guess what? Her granddaddy showed her mama. Her great-granddaddy showed her great-grandmama, okay? This is generational. And you're going to hear how generational this is. It ain't just her. This was her mama's story, her grandmama's story, her great-grandmama's story, and her great-great-grandmama's story as well. It was just probably worse. Black men are showing you why you don't need them. They show you why that you don't need them. But let me ask y'all a question. All of these chicks in here said they wouldn't want to marry or commit to their baby daddies. Do you think that their baby daddy gave them reason to not want to quit, to not want to commit to them before or after they became impregnated by him? Because this is where Black male worshiping pathology comes in. She knew she was sitting in a community where the men showed that they were some useless, expendable, nothing ass bitches. She knew that. All of them knew these bandits were a headache. These bandits are a problem. And all of them continue to have children with them. If the mindset does not change, the behavior cannot change. If the mindset does not change, the behavior does not change. Why would you have children or lay down with a man that you know is a bandit, that you would not want to marry? Now, I'm not saying in terms of having sex, you don't have to get pregnant. They have birth control during this time. They have birth control during this time. Black women already knew what these bandits were because they had been showing them. They had been showing them. Now you have a room full of Black women strapped down, burdened, on welfare. Wouldn't matter if they married them or not. That's the gag that the data says. It wouldn't have mattered whether they married you or not. The outcome would have just been the same. You would have just been a married single mother instead of a non-married single mother. But you would have gotten the same response. All of them knew these bandits were worth nothing except dick and balls and genetic material, and still had children with them.
About holding up far no sex, my man. You know, if the girl, you know, she get having a baby, carrying a baby, that's on her. You know, I'm not gonna stop my pleasures because of another woman.
What about birth control? What about condom?
Girls don't like them things. They don't like them things. You know, I'll tell you to take them things out. They figure that you saying that they filthy or they dirty or something.
Did you hear what this bandit said? He said if a woman has a child and she gets pregnant, that's on her. This was in 1986. We probably heard this on Themis's or somebody's platform 2 days ago. He said, what about condoms and birth control? Can't even take accountability for the fact that condoms are for males because women do not have dicks. And then what did he say? He put it on the woman. Oh, she don't want me to wear a condom. She don't want me to. They always ask me to take it off. Have you heard that one recently? How often do you hear the same narrative from these bandits? They say the same thing decade after decade after decade, generation after generation after generation. It's the same thing. If the woman becomes impregnated, that's on her. How easy would it be to take a man like this out of the home? Would anybody need to take a man like this out of the home? Ain't no woman go hold him back. Now, this is a bandit with multiple children by multiple women. He doesn't just have a child with one of the ones that's featured in this video. He has multiple children with multiple women, still using the same excuse, they got pregnant. Sir, you got multiple women pregnant though. It can't be all of their faults, but no, he's saying, oh no, it's their fault. It's on her. It's gonna blow y'all's mind in a minute.
It's been a startling change in value. 25 years ago.
Now look what he said. There's been a startling change in values. He's talking about what these bandits value. Back in the day, they appeared to value fatherhood, but now they're showing you that they don't value it. He's saying there appears to be a change. No, there was no change in values. We're just seeing it now. We're seeing how prevalent the lack of value on fatherhood was.
Heard such things said so freely because they were not embraced so widely. The strong family was still the backbone of Black America, and 3 out of 4 children had both parents at home. That is true no longer. Most Black children are now growing up without their fathers. The result is a
look, I want you guys to listen to the language. Did he say that most Black children are growing up with single mother homes, or did he say most Black children are growing up without their fathers? See, because one places accountability on the father, the other lumps it on the mother by trying to say, well, she's a single mother. When you say, oh, these people are coming from a single mother home, you're saying the problem is the single mother. The narrator said most of them come from fatherless homes. The father is not in the home. So therefore, he's attaching the problem to the father. This is why you need to change the language. Stop shaming women for being single mothers and shame the men for being absentee fathers. The man pointed out that they're growing up without the father because that is the problem. He's telling you, here is the problem. The man ain't there. Wording does mean everything. Thank you, MB. Wording means everything. Because it's about who is responsible for this. If you say single mothers, you're putting the responsibility on the woman. If you say homes without a father, you're putting the accountability where it needs to be, which is the father left, because he didn't want to be there anyway.
And upside down, as children copy what they see and repeat what they learn.
He said children copy what they see and repeat what they learn. So all of these girls, this mama taught them black male worship. It don't matter how much he leave you a single mother. He left me one. He left your grandma one. Still worship him and be with him. They repeat what they learn. Black male worshiping is a learned behavior. You are repeating it generationally after generation after generation. Because your mother showed you to stick around for a bandit and try to do everything to keep him in a home. Her grandmother taught her, her great-grandmother taught her long suffering. The black man is the only person you should be with. That's the only person you should lay down and have kids with. Who cares if they can't provide for their family because they never could? But who cares? Who cares if they can't provide? They black. So find something about their blackness. I want y'all to listen to one of these women when he asked her, what did she like about the bandit? I want y'all to listen to what she says.
Aunt said she didn't have a father in her home and doesn't think her children need one. She's not unusual. Half the black families today are headed only by a woman. Lorinda said she...
So in 1986, half of the black families were headed by women. You don't get that way because women don't want to have a man in the house. You don't get that way from welfare taking no man out the house. Especially when these bandits have multiple children with multiple women. Which household did food stamps take you out of because you ain't in none of your kids' household? Which one? Did they go to all your baby mamas and offer them an EBT card or a book of food stamps? And as long as you promise to just never be in none of their houses? Katrina said the bandits have been useless for a very long time, but it's a trip that they never want to have smoke with Dustball who abandoned them. No, they don't, because again, they repeat what they learn. If these mamas would start telling these kids, yo, daddy ain't here because he don't want to be here. But we lie. And we say, oh, don't badmouth that girl, that daddy in front of her kids. Don't talk bad about that man in front of his kids. No, trash him in front of his kids. So his kids can go to him and say, daddy, why you ain't here? Instead of being mad at you. They're mad at you because you didn't tell them the truth about their daddy. I'm sorry, your daddy was a bandit. He felt like the street was better than being home with his kids. And that's why he got multiple families all over the city. It ain't just you, baby. Everybody getting the same black man. That is who he is. But y'all want to lie to him. Y'all want to lie to your own kids about their daddy, and then they grow up and they hate you for it. They resent you because you were protecting a bandit when you should have been honest with him. If your daddy is a bandit and he out there creating multiple kids and he don't care about being a family man, the kid needs to know. Rather than you make it, because then the kid is just like, okay, well, my mama said my daddy was a good man, so, oh, she must be keeping him out of the house then. She must be keeping him away from me because she said he a good man. No, your daddy was community dick. And the only thing he wanted to serve was his dick. or his addiction or whatever else he was serving at the time. But unfortunately, that is what your daddy was doing. Yeah, they do. They always talking about, don't talk to you with the father. Oh, don't, y'all be sitting up bashing daddies in front of their kids. Yeah, and you need to be bashed because your kid ain't about to come to me and think I'm the reason why you ain't here. No, your bandit of a daddy lied to me, tricked me, made me think he was gonna be a father, then switched up when you were born. I tried everything I could to get this bandit to stay home. He ain't want to be kept. End of story. Sorry. I'm not about to have no kid mad at me because you're a bandit. I'm just not going to. I'm not going to. Stop lying to your children. If the man is a bandit, tell them they're a bandit. You can even say, I should have did better. You can say you should have chose better, but do not take accountability for what no bandit is doing. Don't protect the bandit. Don't sugarcoat it. If he ain't there, he ain't there. If he deserved to be trashed, trash him then. Because the kids sure are growing up, sitting up on TikTok and YouTube, trashing you and celebrating their daddies who walked out on them. And it's all because you didn't want to speak ill of their fathers. Please, I will drag your daddy right in front of your face. Don't play. Your daddy will get dragged. If your daddy is a bandit, I'm dragging him. Whether you're around or not, I'm dragging your daddy, period. If he needs to be dragged. And then I'm going to put him on the phone and I'm going to let you ask him why he ain't here. Because me asking him ain't getting him here. So here, ask your daddy why he ain't here. Why he keep telling you he's gonna come pick you up and he ain't doing it. Ask him why didn't he go to court and try to get custody of you so that he could see you? Why didn't your daddy go get a parenting plan? Why did your daddy so-called allow me to keep you away from him? Why didn't he fight for you? Meaning he said, if telling the truth about the father is considered bashing, then doesn't that speak more on the male's behavior? These males take no accountability. No, it doesn't. Because you have a generational cycle that's already established. In the community, nobody's mad at the father who walked out. They're mad at the mother who stayed. If y'all don't start bashing these bandits to your kids, you better drag their daddy, please.
She could make it on her own as a single parent. She has never been married and is raising her daughter without a man's help. She's not unusual. Today, nearly 60% of all Black children are born out of wedlock.
Nearly 60% are born out of wedlock. Does that sound like men who want to be fathers or who want to be in the home? If a wife and kids are in the home, in 1986, it showed that the only thing that could take a Black man out of the home is having a wife and a kid in it. That's the only thing that could take them out of the home. 60% born out of wedlock. And these bandits want to run around to you and talk to you about marriage. They want to sit there and say somebody took them out the home. Yes, your wife and your child and every bit of responsibility that came with it took you out the home. A food stamp didn't have nothing to do with that. Food stamp didn't have nothing to do with that. No bandit that has the mentality of this bandit, it ain't gonna be hard to get him out of nobody's house. Nobody has to take this bandit out of the home when you listen to how he thinks.
Timothy said his children are not his responsibility. He has left them to be supported by their mothers and welfare. He's not his children.
Listen.
His children. Lorinda said she could make it on her own as a single parent. He has never been married and is raising her daughter without a man's help. She's not unusual. Today, nearly 60% of all Black children are born out of wedlock. Timothy said his children are not his responsibility. He has left them to be supported by their mothers and welfare.
Now, Timothy said his children are not his own responsibility. If you don't even think your kids are your responsibility, how hard is it to get you out the home with them? If you don't think your kids are your responsibility, you go run up out of any home that your kids exist in. At least somebody asks you to take accountability for them. He said he left his kids to be taken care of by their mother and by the government. That is what the Moynihan report said. The reason you got on food stamps, you needed welfare because you couldn't get it from him. He was providing nothing. How many times have y'all heard these bandits in 2022 and 2021 and 2020 saying those are her kids? Acting like they DNA wasn't even needed to make the kid. Somehow, all of a sudden, now they believe that you can procreate on your own because they sitting there saying, oh, that's her kid. She needs to be accountable for it. It's either her kid or that kid, but never my kid. They still don't think their children are their own responsibility. If you don't think your kid is your responsibility, you are not going to take care of it. Nobody has to remove you from the home. You will literally do everything you can to never be in a home that has any of your kids in it, ever. Because you don't even think you're responsible for your own kid. This is why they show that attitude. Oh, she going to the child support system. Yeah, she shouldn't have to. That's your child. And if you thought that you were responsible for your own child, you probably would not be on child support. You're on child support, even though Black women are the least likely to put you on it, and they don't really get nothing but what, $40 a week anyway. But you wouldn't even be on child support if you would just take care of your responsibility. But since you think it's not your responsibility, then you don't want to be put on child support. They act like you're trying to get them to do something that ain't their responsibility to do. That's why they complaining about it. Oh, the system got to change. They even complaining about it with Becky now too, right? We just saw a video of a high value man. Hold on, y'all. Didn't we just see a video of this so-called high value man who was complaining because Becky put him on child support? Oh, the system got to change when you leave Becky a single mother too, right? But I thought that Becky wasn't putting you on child support. But now that she is, the system got to change because of her too. The system is unfair. Why? Because you didn't contest the paternity, you didn't contest the custody of your child, or you was doing something out of pocket and the court said no. So now the system got to change because you got to pay child support. Why? Because it ain't your responsibility. Just like Timothy was saying in 1986, you walked up out the home, period, point blank. Y'all don't sit up here and walked up the home, and then Black women, you let Black men okie dokie with this welfare trope. They needed an excuse. They needed an excuse as to why they wasn't in the home taking care of their damn kids. So they said, oh, welfare, here we go. Here we go, another excuse, welfare.
He's not unusual either. For LaDawn and Clorinda and Timothy, and many more like them in cities all over America, the traditional family no longer exists. It has vanished, and something new is taking its place. Single women and the children they're rearing alone are the fastest growing part of the Black population. What becomes of the Black family in a world where the values are being turned upside down?
If the parent is 17 and 18, uneducated, unmotivated, fooling around, wandering around, what's the child gonna learn? Who's to teach them? When you learn something, you was taught by your parents. It was reinforced by school and your neighbors, but it was taught by your parents. Well, if the parents don't know anything, how are they gonna teach the children? So it's not racism that I'm fighting right now. It's the lack of motivation. It's just, see, I'm not even talking about racism. Maybe later on we'll get back to that. But I think we are destroying ourselves.
Y'all, what did Black men teach their sons? They taught their daughters that they didn't need a man. So likely they taught their sons, you don't need to be there and be the man. That's what Black men taught their sons. They taught their sons to abandon their family, and they taught their daughters, you don't need a man. Stop blaming it on their mama. You taught them they don't need a man. When you decided to walk out the home and you taught your son that he does not need to be a man. These are the things that Black men have taught the community. They taught the women that they don't need them. You taught her to be independent when you decided not to show up so she can depend on you. You told her that she didn't need you when you left and she survived without you. You taught her that she didn't need you. And you taught your sons to do the same thing to whatever women they impregnate. Leave. Abandon them. Don't take accountability for anything.
Sorry, we've been putting our air. That's why every.
Sorry, y'all, they got these old commercials. Let me tell you something. This is old, so they got these old commercials, and I just be looking at the commercials. This came out when I was 2, by the way. I was 2 when this happened, okay? When this documentary came out in 1986, I was 2. So when I look at all these commercials, it's kind of interesting to see the difference in what they were promoting back then when I was 2 and what they were promoting now. So I would encourage y'all, I'll put the link to this video. Go look over the commercials so you can see how different the products are from back in the day. But anyway.
This is Newark, New Jersey, one of America's inner cities. Inner city is a polite name for ghetto, as in black ghetto. Those of us who don't live in the ghetto are brought here usually by television and usually only when there are violent pictures to show. But we have to come here if we want to understand those fearsome statistics about the vanishing black family. Now, a lot of white families are in trouble too. Single parent families are twice as common in America today as they were 20 years ago. But for the majority of white children, family still means a mother and a father. This is not true for most black children. For them, things are getting worse. Today, black teenagers have the highest pregnancy rate in the industrial world. And in the black inner city, practically no teenage mother gets married.
And who do y'all think was impregnating those teenage girls, by and large? Because we did into the 90s, there was an issue with teen pregnancy. Who do you think was impregnating them? Do you think it was teenage boys, or do you think it was grown ass predatory ass men? Grown predatory men, because that was running amok too. And then your mama and your grandmama and all the black male worshiping women in the community said, no, black men are predators. That's white supremacy. Mind you, they have a 60% rate of predation on the teenage girls, and we were told that that's white supremacist propaganda. Black men don't do that. You repeat what you learn. Try to convince the average black woman that a black man can be a predator, and watch how you get into at least a verbal argument with her where she blames everything on white supremacy and what somebody done to black men to make them that way. You don't get to have a 60% rate of reported predation and predatory behavior and then call it white supremacy. You don't get to blame it on white supremacist propaganda. This is your pathology. Of course, they blamed it on the girls. That's a part of black male worship. A part of black male worship is everybody is responsible except the black man. Everybody responsible. Even the victims are responsible. He just ain't.
That's no racist comment. What's happening goes far beyond race. Why then do so many teenage girls get pregnant and have children? Why do so many fathers abandon their families? The answers begin with the people here. They told us what happens to family when mothers or children, fathers don't count, and the street is the strongest scoop.
Again, this is the cultural dynamic that black men created. That's what he's basically telling you. He's telling you about the culture that black men have created, that they're continuing to perpetuate today.
is the beginning of another school day in Newark, New Jersey. Another day of class for Florinda Henderson. She is 17 and had hoped to graduate from high school next year, but that was before the birth of her baby.
Dream that having a little baby, you just put in your arms and stuff. It's like a knowledge and stuff. So I thought it'd be fun to
The reality's different.
reality's just touch me right now.
So basically, she sat here and told this man of no color she want a black baby just so she can cuddle it and hug it. She thought it was gonna be so fun. And then when reality hit her, she realized, oh, okay, yeah, I'm a single mother now to a man. The reasons for bearing children, Black women, is to say that it's juvenile is really under exaggerating. Your reasoning for having a baby and going through all it takes to have a baby, especially a male child, because if you're carrying a male, your pregnancy is gonna, the risk that you take in everything is gonna increase exponentially. Why are we having children just to be having them? Or because they're Black? She was 17. Who is teaching her that or who taught her that it's okay to have a baby just to have a baby? Or because the baby is cute, or because the baby is cuddly, or because the baby is Black? Your reasoning for having children should be for a productive reason. What I saw in this video is a bunch of Black teenage girls, because she was 17, mind you. However, I've spoken to grown Black women on this channel, and they've said similar things. Oh, I just want to have a Black baby. That's it. They just want to have a Black baby. Same thing as saying, oh, I just want a cute little baby. Oh, I just want a Black baby. No other reason. I don't want a legacy. I don't want my baby to grow up and be somebody who progresses humanity. Oh, I just want to have I just want to have a baby. Oh, I like him. He's cute. I want to have his baby. We have to be way more responsible with having children. This is a huge health risk, and we act as though it's not. Babies being cute is not a reason to have a baby. You can go to a maternity ward, volunteer at a child care center if you want to see a cute baby. You should not be laying down with a bandit, having a baby just because it's cute or because it's Black, or you want something to cuddle, go get you a teddy bear that you don't have to feed and clothe and change diapers and teach to be a productive human in society. This is just not cute at the end of the day.
And I had to pinch myself to see if I was here, because I was like, this is too much.
Florinda was only 15 when she got pregnant with her daughter, Shaquana. She is not unusual. Half of all Black teenagers become pregnant. Florinda has never been married. She's still living with her mother at home, where she's raising her baby daughter. Florinda goes to a special school for dropouts after she takes her daughter to a daycare center. She has 5th grade math skills and reads at a 6th grade level.
When I got pregnant, I said, well, I'm gonna have this baby, and she's not gonna stand in the way of my education. I'm not gonna let no one stand in the way of my education. I ain't gonna be like these other girls, just drop out, can't get no job, no money, have to be on welfare. Ready.
But look at how resilient Black women have as a mindset. I want you to compare the resilience of the Black teenage girl's mindset to that of these bandits when they start talking to these bandits. Because what she said is that, you know what, I'm not gonna let this baby stop me. I'm still gonna get an education. How do you think Black women have become the most educated? Why do you think Black women are now the ones who are the biggest entrepreneurs? Because of this mentality. Because even when you do something that's stupid, that burdens you, you don't give up. And that's why she said, I'm not gonna let this baby stop me, I'm still gonna do it. Even though it was overwhelming to her, even though she said this is too much, she said it's too much. Just raising a kid is too much. But she's still gonna go and she's still gonna try to make herself better. This is her mentality. Listen to the bandits' mentality when they get to it.
On the vocabulary.
Bingo. Dorinda learned about birth control and sex education courses, but she still became pregnant. You think it was a mistake?
I'll say no. Because I wasn't on any, birth control methods. And neither was he. And, we were sexually active. And what happened, it just happened.
When you think back to that day when you learned you were pregnant, what went through your mind?
Oh, I'm gonna tell my mother. And I'm gonna tell my mother, she's gonna make me get an abortion. I was really scared, I think,
Why didn't you want to get an abortion?
because I wanted a baby.
What did you like about it?
Now listen, I need y'all to, I really need y'all to listen to this black male worshiping. This part right here made me want to pull one of my braids clean out my hair. I'm telling y'all, I wanted to rip one of my braids clean out of my scalp after hearing this part. And the reason being is because this mentality in Black women, it is not cute and it has not changed. She said, oh, I just wanted to have his baby. Listen to what she says when he says, what did you like about him? Okay. I need y'all to really listen to this part.
Why didn't you want to get an abortion?
Because I wanted a baby.
What did you like about him?
His legs.
His legs.
And I got a thing for bow-legged boys.
Bow-legged boy.
I love them. They have some gorgeous legs. I just don't know.
This woman said that she liked his legs. Does that sound like, oh, I like his dark skin. I like his dreads. Oh, he's so fine. I want to have his baby. She literally just said, oh, I wanted to have his baby because she liked his legs. She might as well have just said, oh, because he's Black. It's because he's Black. Tell me where her standards, expectations, and boundaries were beyond him having legs. She was talking about having him, and granted, this is a teenager. This is a teenager, but I'm pointing this out because I've heard grown women sit on my phone and tell me, I want a Black baby. I want a Black baby. He's Black. We need him because they're Black. This is how you sound when you say that. When we ask, oh, well, why do you need these bandits? And you say, how are we gonna create Black kids? This is how you sound. Oh, I like them because of his legs. That's exactly how Black women sound. No reason at all. You ain't getting nothing out of these bandits. But when you told to stop birthing them or ask, why do you need to keep birthing them? And you say, because they are Black, this is how you sound. This is how you sound. Like a woman that's sitting up here talking about how hard it is to raise this child on her own. And then she turns around and talks about how she liked this man's legs. Clearly, back then and even now, these bandits didn't have nothing to offer except biology. Physical genetic material, that's it. That's the only thing they had to show up as. Legs. Legs for her, Black skin for other Black women. That's it. That's all you got to bring to the table. This is why if they get a job and can take care of themselves, they want to post it all on social media talking about, oh, I'm the prize now. Because you were only taking them for their legs back then, or they Black skin, or just showing up and existing, being Black. ain't providing nothing else, but they Black. You can say she was a kid, but like I said, grown Black women, if you ask them, why do they need why do they need Black men? They go say, oh, because I need to make a Black kid. Same thing. Superficial, dumb, having to do with vanity. This is what your vanity is costing you. Her liking his calves and his leg, that is vanity. How many L's are y'all gonna keep taking over vanity? Wanting to just have Black children, that's vanity.
Aaron Lyle is the father of Florinda's baby. He is 18 and lives in central Newark. He dropped out of high school when he was 16. He has never held a steady job.
Spend most of my time listening to the radio. When I don't go to school, I don't work, I don't do nothing. Just like this, every time.
Most of the time, this bandit listens to music. He don't work, he don't go to school, and he don't want to. And quite frankly, there ain't no reason why he should, because all she wanted like is his calves or his Black skin anyway. Why would he get a job if you ain't looking for him to have money? Why would he go to school if you don't care if he's smart? You just want him to be Black and attractive. And you'll have his baby just because he got some nice legs or some Black skin. You'll have his baby. But there's no motivation on him to do better, though. He doesn't have any reason to do better because you're going to take him anyway.
If you want to have a baby,
I don't. You just not really, it just happened. You know, she was popped up family. I just.
were your friends impressed?
You know, everybody was telling me, that, she looked just like me, and, she was kind of cute, kind of pretty. And I was like, make me feel good.
Sure. Do many of them have babies?
That seemed like that's what I'm taking doing, Brian's making babies and making babies.
Look, just dumb as a bag of rocks. But sat up there and said, oh, that's all they do. When he's talking about other Black men his age, that's all they do is sit up and make babies. He's sitting there acting like he doesn't know that he impregnated a woman. He's going to say, oh, it just happened. No, it didn't just happen. But how many grown adult Black men in 2023 are saying, well, she got pregnant. She shouldn't have gotten pregnant. Well, she didn't get pregnant. You impregnated her. But all they'll sit there and tell you is she got pregnant. I don't know how it happened. He'd sit there and say he don't know how it happened. You didn't know you was laid up in the bed with her? What are Black men teaching other Black men? Mushmouthery, recklessness, irresponsibility. This is their culture. This is what you think you go save your son from. You think you about to save your son from this, that you just go raise him better. He ain't gonna get sucked into it. Again, Black women's vanity over here, multiple generations just showing them and telling them he is gonna get sucked into it, most of it. And here goes Black women. No, I'm vain, I'm arrogant, I'm gonna raise him better. No, he's Black. No, save the innocent children because he's not gonna grow up and be a grown man. No, I can do it. I can fix him. Ain't fixed nothing yet. The only thing you can fix is yourself. The only thing that Black women have caused to progress is Black women. You cannot change them. You can't circumvent their culture. You're not going to raise them better. Stop being vain. Because if you could raise them better, you would have been doing it. You wouldn't have this generational cycle stemming from the time you stepped off the plantation to all the way to 2023 if you could just do it better. You can't change them, and that's why you ain't changed them. The only thing you changed is your status. That's the only thing you changed. Black women have changed themselves. You went from being the world's teen mothers to the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. That's what you've changed. You ain't changed nothing about these bandits, though. You can keep thinking you gonna change them, but you're not. She said, oh, he had good cows. I just want to have his baby. He said the baby was an accident. I don't even know how it happened. You ain't never been on the same page as these bandits. She wasn't on the same page as him. Were they on the same page? No. She was looking at him saying, oh, look at, he's cute. I want his baby. He ain't motivated. He don't know how it happened. Baby was an accident. The other bandit said his baby ain't even his responsibility. Y'all ain't even on the same mental wavelength, and you are bringing lives into existence, and you're not even on nowhere near the same page. And then Black women want to sit up and say, well, we can just raise them better. Well, no, all the time, culture doesn't have every single sociological piece of data says cultural influence outweighs parental influence. You're never going to see anything, but here are vain Black women. No, look at me, almighty strong Black woman. I can circumvent Black male culture. If that was the case, then wouldn't you have done it a long time ago? You can't circumvent Black male culture because you can't control Black men. You don't control what they value. You don't control what they think. You don't control what they do, obviously, or else we would be in a different community. Can we drop the vanity? You're not going to change bandits. Your son is going to get sucked into this 9 times out of 10. All of y'all can't be special.
Darren told us that in this neighborhood, it's easy to get involved with girls and easy to get into trouble. Darren has been arrested 5 times for stealing, suspicion of homicide, and for possession of a deadly weapon.
Look, 18 and already been arrested 5 times. One of them is suspicion of homicide. How long they been terrorizing your communities and Black women think she about to circumvent this? She just gonna raise her son to where he ain't getting sucked up into a cycle that most of these Black male sons have been getting sucked up into for a long time. She just gonna change it. No, not my son. No, I'm still gonna go have me a Black son. 18 been arrested 5 times already. Do you think that's changed? No. Has the felonious behavior changed? No. Has the lack of motivation to do something changed? No. Have the sexual irresponsibility changed? No. Still sitting up here saying they kids ain't their responsibility. Still sitting up here saying they don't know how a woman got pregnant. Same thing. 5 times this bandit had been arrested. Terrorizing their own community. He was arrested, one of them, for a weapons charge because he's trying to protect himself from other Black men.
You were arrested for carrying a dangerous weapon. What was it?
One of them big machetes,
Machete?
knives and big knives.
You just carried around with you?
I used to bring it to school with me.
That's hard to conceal that, isn't it?
Designed like this blue coat, like a blue goose. Poke the hole in the pocket of it, and I just put it right in.
Isn't that dangerous?
That's the way stuff was going, like that's the way people was acting towards me. So I felt like I needed a weapon. Cause it just seemed like, it's like, boy, really like Vietnam.
Have you asked?
He said the communities were like Vietnam. Do you think the pregnant Black teenagers were making the communities like Vietnam? Or do you think it was generation after generation of these felonious-minded bandits? That Black women are somehow still protecting their sons from being sucked into, only not protecting them though. Being delusional, your communities is still as dangerous as Vietnam. Because these bandits been terrorizing your community for a long time. They even have to protect themselves from other Black men. They ain't even safe around their peers. They're not safe around their male peers, but they want to tell you to choose better though. And they can't even choose good Black men to hang around with, but they want you to choose a better Black man to get pregnant by. Why weren't black men vetting the black men that they were around so that they didn't have to go to school with machetes? Why not just vet them better, black men? Why do you need to run around with an illegal gun? Why don't you just vet black men better? Why don't you vet the communities you in better? You should know when you're around a felonious minded bandit, and you should just not be around them. Why don't you choose better, black men? Why do you need to protect yourself from other black men if there's so many of them who are good? Because black men will sit there and tell you in a minute, oh, it ain't all black men. That's only the minority. So you running around here getting weapons charges because it's the minority of them? You scared of the minority? You taking legal L's and ended up in prison for weapons that you shouldn't have because of the minority of bandits and the whole rest of the community. The overwhelming majority of them is good. But you telling black women to choose better though.
There to help you with the baby?
No, because I see he can't even help himself. He can't, it's pitiful to say that, but he can't.
He wasn't prepared to be a father?
No. Still, listen,
Were you ready to be a mother?
well, but now.
How long have black women known that black men can't even take care of themselves? Do you think they just found out in 1986, or do you think they've been knowing since that man was on a plantation that he couldn't even help himself? Before she was even impregnated by this bandit, she knew this man didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, but she sure didn't know he was black, and she knew he had legs that she liked. That's it. No expectations, standards, and boundaries to be seen anywhere. They just didn't exist, clearly. And then somebody want to tell me that standards, expectations, and boundaries have always been promoted amongst black women. You don't get women sitting up here in 1986 talking about she got pregnant by this dude because of his legs, and then tell me that standards, expectations, and boundaries were promoted to black women. When? During what era? I would love to know the era. Because for this to be the case in 1986, you got to already have multiple generations of it. Somehow, somebody told black women that the only standard he needs, the only expectation you need to have is him being black. Ain't nobody told black women about no standards, expectations, and damn sure not no boundaries. Boundaries from who? For what? To prevent who from doing what? Because in this black male worshiping culture, it says you don't have no boundaries for no black man. You can have them for every other man. And those boundaries means you better not look at another race of man. But when it comes to this black man, oh no, don't have no boundaries with him. No, you better struggle. You better earn him. You better, just make sure he'll marry you. Well, at least just get the ring. Telling somebody to go chase a ring from a bandit who can't even afford it ain't no standards. And I don't know who told y'all it is. The bandit can't even afford the ring or the wedding, and you running out thinking because you want to get married, you got standards. No, that's not a standard. That's called desperation. That's called, I need to be validated. My mama told me because her mama told her and her mama told her that what I need to do is chase a ring from a bandit who couldn't even, despite the fact that I know damn well they can't even take care of themselves. But let me go get a ring from him. He can't afford it. And now if they won't ask you, you will get on your knees and ask them. That's how desperate you are for it. Chasing marriage is not standards, expectations, and boundaries. I don't know who told y'all that, but it is not. And that's why most married black women going through it in a relationship, period. Sharing a husband. Just anyway, let me move on because I ain't about to drag marriage again. Let me just go. So I ain't got to drag married people again.
Not that I am, I just have to take steps.
Miranda relies on welfare to support Shaquana, but it's her mother, Gloria Henderson, who gets the check for the whole family. Gloria, 34, has never been married. She was a teenager when Clorinda was born, just as her own mother, Clorinda's grandmother, had been when Gloria was born.
Look,
When you were pregnant.
listen to what he said. I want y'all to listen to what this man says. When he tells you generation after generation after generation, the women been going through the same thing. But y'all said that these men were family then. But you said y'all were married and things were better. So how did you get 3 generations before 1986 of the same thing? Married single mothers, single Black mothers taking care of their children. You couldn't have 3 generations of it, and then all of a sudden, what happened? What happened? How did you get 3 past generations of single mothers? Her mother, she's that way. Her mama was that way. Her grandmama was that way. Listen to how he tells you.
Now that I am,
Clorinda relies on welfare to support Shaquana, but it's her mother, Gloria Henderson, who gets the check for the whole family. Gloria, 34, has never been married. She was a teenager when Clorinda was born, just as her own mother, Clorinda's grandmother, had been when Gloria was born.
Clorinda, her mama, and her grandmama were all single mothers, left to take care of their children on their own. 3 generations of struggling and Black male worship. Her mama was that way. Her grandmama was that way. You can best believe her great grandmama was that way. When was the era when all these men were running around being providers? When? When were Black men providers? When? Because he just took you back 3 whole generations. This was in 1986. So that means you going back into the 50s now. Oh, the 50s is the time where Black men say that they were providers, but yeah, no, because if that was the case, her grandmama wouldn't have gone through that either. Her grandmama wouldn't have went through that. If Black men were providers in the 50s, would her grandmama have been a single mother? No, no. For the marriage-obsessed women, please tell me the era of time it was when marriage built strong Black families. Please tell me when it was. Because you got 3 generations of single mothers here. This ain't the only documentary that laid it out. The Moynihan report laid it out. How delusional are we going to be? Or are we going to finally admit that these bandits have always been bandits? They never been husbands. They never provided. It don't matter if you marry them or not. They're not changing because you won't change. You won't change. You will change your societal position, but you won't change your mentality and your mindset towards these bandits. You won't do that. You will change everything except for how you look at these bandits. You just cannot see them as the bandits as they are. They're bandits. At this point, it's delusion to try and paint a narrative of a time when they were never bandits. They always were bandits. Your mama dealt with a bandit, your grandmama dealt with a bandit, your great grandmama dealt with a bandit, and the banditry go all the way to the plantation. We all been dealing with it. Please tell me when they were working, providing fathers to anybody, just one era. Please just tell me, what was it? It wasn't the 1950s. I can tell you that. You can read the Moynihan report. It said it wasn't in the 1930s and the 1920s either. So when was it?
When you were pregnant, did you assume that you could turn to welfare for help after the baby came?
yeah, but I didn't have her just to collect welfare. I had her because after it lived in an apartment, I would have had somebody to live for and also somebody to love and love me back.
She had a baby because she wanted somebody to love her back. Black women, if you're having babies because you want somebody to love you, that means you are deprived of love. So therefore you have no self-esteem. And you're deprived of love even from yourself. Self-love is included in that. No woman should be laying down to have a baby so that that baby can validate her existence. You should be loving your baby. You do not bring a child into this so that you can have somebody to love you, because that means the bandit that you created it with don't even love you. Because if he was feeling that void, you wouldn't be having that baby, so that baby can fill that void. That mentality is also why a lot of you Black mothers think your son is your man and he ain't. Because if you birth your son so that it can love you, then you think that your son is your new man, and your son is not your man. First of all, you babied him too much for him to be your man, but he's not your man. Stop creating children so you can have something to love you. Fill the void first. Fill the void by you first. Love you first. Get self-love first. Please tell me where the standards, expectations, and boundaries were ever promoted to these type women. The mindset is telling you there were none. Because you can only have standards, expectations, and boundaries after you learn to love yourself. Ain't no way these women were acting like this and you go say they had some standards, expectations, and boundaries. No, they did not. No, they did not. Standards, expectations, and boundaries only exist where there is self-love. It does not exist in women who are having babies because they want something to love them.
Is your daughter the first person you've ever loved?
I really,
Months after the birth of their baby, Lorinda was pregnant again by Darren. This time, she
2 months after this baby, and he left for a single mother, she was pregnant again by the same bandit that she knew didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw at her. She knew she would love the pride. She knew she was starved for validation. She knew that bandit couldn't take care of himself. But still, when this baby turned 2 months, she was pregnant again by the same bandit. And y'all gonna tell me this ain't Black man worship? This is Black man worship. Why does he get to lay down with you? He ain't taking care of your kid, ma'am. And he got families all over the place, ma'am. Why are you laying down with this bandit? That you just couldn't even name one thing you like about him except his calves. Problem.
had an abortion. She didn't think she could handle 2 little children while still a teenager herself. Your grandmother was a single woman with a child. Your mother, a single woman with a child. Now you, why is that happening?
I really didn't plan on getting pregnant, but if I really had somebody to really sit down and talk to, like really express my feelings to them, I don't think none of this would have happened. And then when it did happen, my grandma's like, I told you this, I told you this, tell me nothing.
Look, he asked her, he said, your mother was a single mother, your grandmother was a single mother, and now you are a single mother. He asked her, why did this happen? Ain't one time did she mention these felonious bandits who run around creating kids and not taking care of them. Not one time. She said because she didn't have nobody to talk to. Where were the standards, expectations, and boundaries during any of these eras? Please, anybody tell me. I'm still waiting for somebody too. This is not a woman who was taught standards, expectations, and boundaries. She doesn't even know what they are. She wouldn't have a clue if anybody mentioned that to her. Nobody taught it to her mother, and nobody taught it to her grandmother. She said her mom didn't talk to her about anything. Definitely not about why you shouldn't be laid up with no bandit. I bet you her grandmother and her mother didn't teach her that you should close your womb off to these bandits who are running around terrorizing these communities. Her mama probably taught her, chase a ring. Get them to marry you. I don't know what that's gonna do for a bandit that don't got 2 pennies to rub together, but sure. Just go struggle and find a man to give you a ring, girl. Just go get you a ring. Just make them marry you. Y'all just need to make them commit to you. That's not standards, expectations, and boundaries. Why do you want that man to commit to you? That is where your standards is going to come from. Why? Why do I need to go get one of these bandits to marry me? For what? What is he going to bring to me other than his last name and the trail of dust that comes with it? What? For what? That's why I push back on marriage, because y'all ain't telling me what. Why? Well, what do I accomplish? What am I going to accomplish by doing it? Get married and then what? Just sit there and say, oh, I'm married like y'all do? Oh, okay. Community in shambles. Still ain't got no man who provide or take care of these kids. I'm still a single mother. Oh, yeah, but y'all told me to get married though. For what? I bet you her mama told her to get married. I bet you her mama told her to get married.
Nobody told Darren anything either. He too lives at home with his mother. Where's your father?
Locked up.
Locked up where?
Means what for? Fighting, violence, stuff like that.
Had anybody ever told you what it is like to be a father?
I like watching other older leaders have kids.
How did
I learned that they take a lot of patience. Take a lot of patience.
you have a lot of patience?
I don't got a lot of patience.
Florinda doesn't always have a lot of.
He asked this bandit, did anybody tell you how to be a father? He abandoned his daddy was an imprisoned bandit. What are Black men teaching their sons? Because you ain't got to be there to teach them. His daddy, by going to prison because he fighting other Black men, you can best believe he either fighting Black women or other Black men. But he ain't going out and putting in no real work. He ain't no freedom fighter. He ain't fighting for the community. We know that. Daddy is a bandit in prison, ain't taught him how to be a father. His father ain't taught him how to be a father either. Generational cycles of banditry. Because if this dude's daddy didn't teach him how to be a father, then the one before him didn't know how to be a father either. You cannot teach what you don't know. So if his daddy didn't know how to be a father, his granddaddy didn't know how to be a father, you ain't got no fathers in the community, period. Now you got some sperm donors, but you don't have no fathers in the community. They do not know how to be fathers by and large. They do not know how to be husbands by and large. By and large, they don't even know how to be decent people. They don't know how to.
Patience either.
You want to fight? Then don't ask me if I want to fight. If you don't want to fight. Don't say to me. No, you went out. You know, it pissed me off.
And look at this, dysfunctional as ever. Dysfunctional. Because this is what happens when you only like somebody's Blackness or when you only like their cows. This is what you get when you're driven by vanity. You're either being vain in his qualities or you're being vain and arrogant in your qualities, in which Black women's vanity and arrogance is coming in when they think they're gonna change these bandits. You're not. And this is how we've been operating. She's sitting up here, got pregnant by this dude twice and sitting on the porch talking about fighting him. Generational cycles of dust and dysfunction.
2 months after her abortion, Florinda and Darren broke off their relationship. They see each other rarely now. Once in a while, Florinda will take Shaquana to visit. You ever think about marrying Florinda? Why not?
Think about it. Nah, that's the last thing I'm looking.
You ever feel depressed?
I don't be like sad. I just be like frustrated. I'm like really like frustrated.
What are the odds that your daughter will follow.
It ain't even crossed his mind to marry her. It ain't even crossed his mind. While she's sitting up there talking about, oh, I want to have his baby, look at his cow. Marrying her is the furthest thing from his mind. It just ain't nowhere near it. Here are black women. Oh no, black men love us. Black men all over the internet talking about how they taking their passports to other people. Delusion. It's super delusional. But that's how black male worship is constructed. It is based on delusion. It's based on ignoring reality, and it's fantasy based. What do I want black men to be versus who are they? Who are they showing me that they are? There's no acceptance of who black men are. Even when they show you it, you got to block it out. No, it's black male worship. No, they're going to get better. No, they're going to change. No. And they over here telling you they ain't changing. And they're showing you that they ain't changing. They're telling you that the only thing that needs to change is you, and I agree. You need to change. Accept them for who they've shown you to be and stop living in the fantasy of what you want them to be. They ain't never been that. They don't know how to be it. Even if they wanted to be it, they don't know how. Nobody's ever shown them. They don't. This is why they keep mimicking the dust from other people, trying to make a hodgepodge of what they think manhood is. Why do y'all think they hopped on Kevin's dick so fast? Because they need a daddy. They need somebody to show them manhood because ain't nobody showed it to them. So no matter how toxic it looks, as long as it's coming from a black man, no matter how degenerate, they go jump face first on their dick. And now that they daddy gone, they were trying to jump on Andrew Tate. Now that Andrew Tate is over there in a Romanian prison, they go jump on Fresh and Fit. They'll jump on Tariq. They'll jump on Umar. They want a daddy. They're searching for manhood. They don't know where to get it from. But they're sitting there telling you to choose better. Don't even know how to choose a good black man to follow, though.
Follow the same road because there was your grandmother, your mother, and you.
No, I'll see to that.
Yeah.
So that I would sit down, I would talk to her about her being a young lady, like Rhonda. If you go out here and have sex, who's for birth control, or, you know, if you do have sex, make sure that you have a chance with clarify to don't just 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 like, you know, to get over on your drinking, make out a piece of the action and different time they can handle.
Did your mother?
This is the problem. She doesn't even know what the issue is, so she can't teach her daughter. He asked her, what would she teach her daughter? And she said she would tell her daughter to have birth control. The issue ain't birth control, sweetheart. That's not the issue. The issue is black male worship. The issue is the lack of standards, expectations, and boundaries. Nothing that came out of her mouth indicated that she would do anything to stop her daughter from following in her footsteps. Telling her about birth control, it might stop you from having a baby until you decide to get off of it. And birth control ain't 100% effective. It's common for women to get pregnant on birth control, okay? You need a little bit more than a birth control discussion to stop this generational cycle of dust. And you want to know how we know that? Because Black teen pregnancy is nearly non-existent right now. You still got a cycle of dust. Birth control fixed teen pregnancy in the Black community. Oh, it fixed that. But it didn't fix this cycle right here because it's not going to fix it. You can't fix this with birth control. You can't fix it. Yeah, you can reduce your rate of teen pregnancy, and Black people did that. But you still got this dusty cycle though. Your community still looks the way it do though. Why? Why? Why does it still look like this, even though you don't have a high rate of teen pregnancy? It looks like this because there are no standards, no expectations, no boundaries, no self-love, just Black male worship and vanity. That's all there is. Black male worship and vanity. That's it. Let's continue.
Tell you those things? You tell them to yourself,
I talk to myself in the mirror. But
and you say, no, no.
no. And like I said to my daughter, no more.
Now, Selsun Blue, the #1 doctor.
Y'all, I ain't heard about Selsun Blue in forever. I almost want to play the commercial, but I ain't got time for the commercial, so. We gotta go past Selsun Blue and get back into dust. Cause I gotta go soon, so. Y'all, my voice, I'm trying to do this, but my voice, I'm putting strain on my voice that I shouldn't even put on there. Now let's get into Alice and Dusty Timothy. Cause Timothy is a dust ball.
Sandra Jackson is 23. She's the mother of 2, expecting a 3rd, and is not married. She too lives in Newark. Like nearly half of all Black children in America, Alice's children are being raised in poverty. They live a subsidized life in subsidized housing.
Nearly half of all Black children in 1986 lived in poverty. How did you get to that rate if Black men were providers and protectors? How? How do you get to a rate of half of Black children growing up in poverty and you got all of these high value, like how? Because somebody delusional, the math ain't mathing. You don't just randomly get to a rate of 50% of children growing up in poverty and you have a history of Black men being providers. That is not how you get there. You get there when you're marrying broke bandits. You get there when the men in your community don't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. When was the era when Black men were providing? Because now you sit here with a 50% rate, y'all impoverished. But people tell me I'm extreme when I say close off your womb. Because you're being burdened and you're burdening your generations by raising them in poverty because these bandits cannot provide for them. But at least they Black though. They Black. I mean, they Black. So why not have them? They Black. They Black. That's the only thing that matters. If none else fails, they're Black. The children are Black. Who cares if most of them are growing up in poverty? Who cares if there's a 60% predatory rate? Who cares if there's a high amount of abuse? Who cares if they're being sucked into this dusty culture? They're Black. They're Black. They're Black and you didn't get an abortion. So everything should be fine now. They Black. I mean, they Black. That's all you need. They're Black. 50% of them being raised in poverty, though, number has increased.
But that's not what Alice wanted or intended. Alice lives in one of the toughest neighborhoods in Newark, in the project where she was born and bred.
Oh, I wonder who's making Newark tough.
She would move out of here. She graduated from high school, went to business college for a year, and worked steadily until she became pregnant with her first child.
You know, I was doing so good before I was pregnant. I had a little job. I kept money, you know, stuff. But after I had the child, that's when money started going low.
And look, so this doesn't support what the Brookings Institute said. Did y'all hear what she said? She had a good job. She was doing financially until she got pregnant by that bandit. Then he drug her down into the pits of dust where he was. The Brookings Institute said this is still happening. It happens the most when you get married to him. That right there is the kicker there. According to the Brookings Institute, her story happens the most, not when you get pregnant by him, when you marry him. Then you get dragged down into poverty. She was doing fine on her own. And then that bandit decided to burden her because that's all he can do. Just like he burdened other women who he done set up here and impregnated. She was doing fine, he dragged her down.
What was your reaction when you found out you were pregnant the first time? Did you intend to get
It
pregnant?
wasn't, no, it wasn't planned. But when I got pregnant, I wanted it. But to be a mother, it was exciting to me. I just thought I had something of my own. The child is gonna call me mom. After you have it, it's hard. You gotta bond this, you gotta bond that.
She wanted somebody that was gonna call her mommy. She had this child knowing that it would burden her because she wanted somebody to call her mommy. Vanity. I'm still looking for the reasons that Black women are having these children that don't got nothing to do with vanity. So far, I'm hearing legs, Blackness, and I want somebody to call me mommy. I want somebody to love me. Vanity. I want y'all to go look into it. For the Christians, is one of the 7 deadly sins. Vanity. And actually, vanity is high up there where pride is. Pride is supposed to be the sin that you can't beat. Vanity is right over there with pride. If you like a man's legs, so you having a baby by him, that's vanity. If you want somebody to love you, so you having a baby, that's vanity. If you having a baby because you want somebody to call you mommy, that's vanity. This is your deadly sin, Black women. Vanity. And I really think y'all need to look into vanity. Because it's looking like vanity is Black women's undoing. It looks like you catching L's because you're bad. And you won't let go of this vanity. And it's fine to like yourself. It's fine to have confidence. When you in this demonic level of vanity in Black male worship, it is a problem. Your issue is vanity. And it's very clear to me. Your issue is vanity, period.
Malik is Alice's firstborn. He is now 3 years old. Soon after he was born, Alice, then 20, quit her job to take care of him. 16 months later, her second child, Antoine, was born. When we met, she was 6 months pregnant with her third child.
Now look, her vanity done got her strapped and bound to 3 kids and dragged her into poverty. Stop having children for vain reasons. And like Black women, can we let it go? Can we let the vanity go, please? Please do it. Why is it not hurting enough yet? Oh, vanity will make you do some stupid stuff. Like the people who go carve up their face and make their face look worse than it did to begin with because they're vanity. Can we please stop it? Like, really, can we please stop? This is vanity here.
Timothy McSeed is 26, the father of Alice's 3 children. Though they're not married, they see each other regularly.
When I first met him, I didn't like him. But when he started talking to me, it seemed like he was like a man that wanted to have a home, have children, take care of her.
Now look at what she said. How many Black women experience this? She said she didn't like him when she first met him. So he presented himself to her as a man who liked family, a man who liked home. Now, Timothy just told this man of no color that his children are not even his responsibility. So he pulled the okie doke on her. He pulled the okie doke on her. How do you vet for this? How do you vet when all you go by is what they're telling you? He sold her a dream because she didn't want him. She didn't like him. She just said that, oh, I didn't even like him. But I thought because he presented himself to me as a family man. Meanwhile, this is a bandit who don't think his kids are his own responsibility and who has multiple kids by multiple women. But they're telling you to vet him though. Vetting is only as effective as the person is willing to be honest. This is why you cannot vet them. You can't vet them. Because if they lie, then how do you vet past a lie? How?
talk with Timothy about how you were going to support the baby when you were pregnant?
You know, that's what we didn't do. No, we didn't even talk about how we was gonna support the child.
Timothy McSee held his last steady job 2.5 years ago. He's been arrested several times on robbery and drug charges.
Timothy is a broke bandit. Meanwhile, he's trying to convince her that he's a family man. Meanwhile, he's a felonious broke bandit who hasn't held down a job in 2 years. And don't think his kids are his own responsibility. This was in 1986.
He was brought up in Newark by his mother, who was 16 when Timothy was born. His father has another family in another city.
Do you hear it? His mother was 16. She got left a single mother. His bandit of a daddy went and had another family after leaving her a single mother. His bandit of a daddy went and created another family with another woman, like father, like son. Black men are teaching their sons even when they are not there. That is why Timothy's father created children with multiple different women, and Timothy went and created different families with different women, none of them that he's providing for, nor any of them that he thinks he should even have to provide for.
Timothy has a talent for drawing, which he has never developed. He dropped out of high school at 16 and spent 2 years in the Job Corps. He was 23 when he and Alice had their first child. Timothy does not support any of his children. How many children do you have? 6.
Timothy is a bandit, 26, 6 children, okay? He was 26. He had 6 children. He's sitting up here laughing and he can't provide for not one of them. But listen to what he says though, because I'm still waiting for these bandits to mention welfare as a problem. Notice how we've gotten through here and ain't one of these bandits named welfare as they issue, and this is 1986. Do you think when he asked this bandit why he doesn't take care of his kids, do you think he's gonna say welfare took him out of home? They ain't said it yet. Ain't none of these men expressed no beef with welfare anywhere in here, none of them, none. But he's gonna get asked about welfare though, and watch what he says when they ask him about welfare.
He fathered those 6 children by 4 women. He also had 2 more children by 2 other women, but one died in infancy and the other was aborted. We asked him about the birth of his first surviving child.
It's kind of a funny experience because like me and the girl was just messing around and she was going with somebody else. She used to be an old girlfriend of mine. She managed to get popped up by me.
Okay, that's the second baby. The third was
Stop.
that was by another lady.
Mrs. Ward. Yes, I go see him every now and then.
How old is he now?
He's 5, if I'm not mistaken. 5 or 4.
And then the fourth one was
Simone. I only saw her twice. Times.
what happened to her?
It's a family problem. You know, the father don't want me to see the mother and all that. You know, I got tired of running behind her and found someone else. I didn't have to sweat it because I guess the father was taking care of them anyway. So
How does it?
He asked this man why he ain't taking care of his kid. He said it's a family issue. He didn't say welfare took him out the home though. This was in 1986. So if welfare was running rampant, taking these bandits out of the home, well, first he would have to ask him which home did welfare take him out of. But he said the issue was between him and the mom. Because him and the mother didn't get along and she had a different boyfriend, he doesn't want to take care of his kid, and he doesn't feel like it's a problem because he expects another man to take care of his kids. That sounds familiar. That sounds real familiar though. It don't sound like they changed their mentality at all. a bandit running around creating children that he doesn't feel responsible for?
You'll have those women, no kids. It's, well, you get to see, if it ain't one thing you've done, like artwork, for instance. You look at your art, you say, this is something that I've done. Just like the copy, it's something that you've done. You can see what you've done. If it's anything, if you don't do nothing, you can see something, what your life was, it was to you.
So the kids are sort of artwork?
Well, not really, but like they might grow up to be doctors or actors, and you can say, look.
Didn't Queen do a reading? And didn't they come out and basically validate what this bandit just said? He asked him if his kids was like artwork, and he said no, but they might grow up to be a doctor or something. Now he's thinking beyond what Black women are thinking. Black women just want their kids to be Black, but he's thinking about how he can profit off his children in the future. This came out in Queen's reading. She said these bandits will create these children in hopes that one of them will grow up to be something and they can exploit them. And that's literally exactly what this bandit just said. Still thinking farther ahead than Black women are. He wants to exploit his children in the future. Black women just want them to be Black. He don't want to take care of them. But when one of them makes it to something big time, well, then he'll claim them then. Yep, like Nick Cannon, just disgusting.
That's my boy, that's my girl, But it's something that you can't have to.
Listen to him.
Like artwork, for instance. You look at your art, you say, this is something that I've done. Just like the copy, it's something that you've done. You can see what you've done. If it's anything, if you don't do nothing, you can see something, what your life was, it was to you.
So the kids are sort of artwork?
Well, not really, but like they might grow up to be doctors or actors, and you can say, look, that's my boy, that's my girl, But
I hope y'all heard him. He abandons his kids, but then if they grow up to be doctors and actors, then he'll run over there and say, that's my kid. Didn't Kelly Rowland's daddy do that to her? Wasn't Kelly Rowland's daddy an absentee bandit and then only wanted to claim her when she became the Kelly Rowland? And Black women think they go fix this though. I don't know how you go fix it without selectively breeding, but sure, you can keep being vain and delusional and thinking you go fix something that you ain't fixed yet.
there's some people that can't have children at all.
Their mothers raised Timothy's children, and welfare pays for them. On the first day of each month at noon, the mothers gather outside the project's mailroom, waiting for the postman to deliver their check.
Well, we call it Mother's Day. As us mothers, we getting our check that day, getting a welfare check, so we call it Mother's Day.
Look at this. Look at this. And look, these Black women ain't alone though. Do it seem like these old bandits who's attached to these Black women as they waiting for a welfare check? Do it look like they mad at welfare, or do it look like they waiting for her to get their check so they can benefit off of it? Because I'm seeing too many bandits walking in here. You got a bunch of Black women who have children by Black men, but who have to rely on the system to take care of those children because these men don't want to. Not because nobody took them out of the home, but because they don't think their kids are their own responsibility. Have no problem at all just letting the government take care of their kids. When child support became an issue, then they start having an issue with welfare when they needed an excuse. And then they had an issue with child support because child support said, your kid is your responsibility and so is the bill and you need to pay it.
Welfare check comes to $385 a month. Catches it at the corner store. Gets another $112 in food stamps.
I think I would have had the second two children if I didn't think Rossdale was dead. I don't like Rossdale because it makes me lazy.
It does.
Yeah, it makes you lazy just to sit around and wait for a monthly check to come in.
Now, look, she says she doesn't like welfare. That's her mentality. She has to be on welfare because the bandit can't provide for the kids that he created with her. But she says she doesn't like welfare. Watch what the bandit says, though.
You know, I just like the work. I like money coming every week, every 2 weeks.
Why doesn't Timothy help you take care of those kids?
One thing I do know about Timothy, that if he did have a job, I know he would take care of me and the children and the girls. But what's holding him back? Well, this is what he tells me all the time. He said, I'm gonna be with another guy, I'm gonna slip away from him while he at work. That don't make no sense to me.
Yeah, he running game on her just like a typical bandit. And she's up here in blackmail delusion talking about if Timothy had a job, he would take care of them kids. No, he wouldn't. He don't even think his kids are his responsibility. She doesn't even know the bandit that she laid up with. She thinks that this bandit would take care of the kids if he had a job. This bandit about to turn around and say them kids ain't his responsibility. She shouldn't have got pregnant.
Don't you get mad sometimes?
I get mad a lot of times about financially support from Timothy.
What do you say to her?
I always said, ain't that hard to get a job. Go out there and look for a job because I'm sick and tired of just laying back waiting for a welfare check. I said, this is not how I want to live the rest of my life. This is not the way I plan for my future to be.
Does it make you feel bad that you can't support your kids?
Yes.
How do they make it? Where do they get the money?
Well, died of the mother's on welfare, and welfare gives them a stipend every month. So what I'm not doing, the government does.
What would happen if the government didn't?
It'd be a big disaster, I guess, because you can't give something that you don't have. In order,
I want y'all to listen to what that bandit said. Does that sound like a bandit that didn't like welfare? Does that sound like a bandit who felt like welfare was taking him out of the home? Or did he say what I'm not doing, the government will do? He doesn't even feel motivated to get a job because the government will come in and give welfare. Then he says, he asked him, well, what would happen if welfare wasn't there? Did he get up and say, well, then I will be there and I will provide for them? No. He said, oh, that will be a disaster. It would be a disaster if the government could not provide for his children because he ain't doing it. But you believe in them when they say the welfare took them out of the home. You don't got to take a man like this out of the home. He was never in it. Let's go back over it.
How do they make it? Where do they get the money?
Where I'm planning for my future to be.
Does it make you feel bad that you can't support your kids?
yes.
How do they make it? Where do they get the money?
Well, died of the mother's on welfare, and welfare gives them a stipend every month. So what I'm not doing, the government does.
What would happen if the government didn't?
It'd be a big disaster, I guess, because you can't give something that you don't have. In order to give, you got to have for yourself.
You see, people out there watching will think, why didn't he think about that before he brought 6 kids into the world?
Well,
Now, before we get to the second piece of dust, this bandit didn't say if welfare wasn't there, then I would just get a job and I provide for my own kid, because welfare is the reason that I can't provide for my own kid. No, what he said is welfare is doing what I cannot do. You cannot give what you don't have. In order to give something, you got to have it for yourself. Does that sound like a provider? And they already told you in the opening of the video, Timothy is coming. He's coming. This is how you collect research and data. This is an honest bandit. Do you think he's lying? This bandit ain't lying. It would be a disaster if welfare wasn't there because these bandits weren't providing. It would be a disaster if there was no welfare to take care of his kids. He sure do keep having them though. He keeps helping to create them though. Did y'all hear any of the other bandits in this video who had children that they expressed one time that welfare was an issue, or that welfare took them out the house, or that they just wanted to be in the home taking care of their kid? No, they said, I don't got no money. All I do is sit up and listen to music. I don't have no job. You were on welfare because they couldn't provide. End of story. End of story. And the difference is you have an honest bandit here telling you it would be devastating if welfare wasn't there. My kids would starve and die, basically. They will be out on the street. They wouldn't have anywhere to stay because I ain't got nothing to give my own kids. Now listen to what else he says.
It'd be a big disaster, I guess, because you can't give something that you don't have. In order to give, you got to have for yourself. You see, people out there watching will say, why didn't he think about that before he brought 6 kids into the world? Well, the mother had a choice. She could have had an abortion, or she could have kept the child. She just...
I promise y'all, we literally just heard somebody on Themis's panel say this 2 days ago. 2 days ago, we heard somebody on Themis's panel say this very thing. Well, she should have got an abortion. She had 2 choices. She could have had it or got an abortion. This was in 1986. You hear it all day, every day. In 2023, they're still saying you should have got an abortion. Let's run the replay.
It's a big disaster, I guess, because you can't give something that you don't have. In order to give, you got to have for yourself. You see, people out there watching will say, why didn't he think about that before he brought 6 kids into the world? Well, the mother had a choice. She could have had an abortion, or she could have kept the child. She decided whether she wanted to have the child, so therefore, I guess it's not sweating her. I mean, you think it's her fault if she gets pregnant? Well, maybe, maybe not. Like I said, mama, baby, papa, maybe. You know what I mean?
How many times have y'all heard these bandits say mama's baby, papa's maybe? You probably just heard it the other day on when Angry Bird was debating Destiny. He said the same thing. She could have got an abortion. Mama's baby, papa's maybe. This was in 1986, as you have a bandit sit up here and say that you chose to have a baby when you could have got an abortion. How long have they been telling you to stop having their kids because it's your fault and you a single mother because you keep having their kids? How long? Literally verbatim saying the same thing. Well, she had a choice. She could have got an abortion. They've been saying this for years and years and years. We're hearing it the way we're hearing it now because it's on social media. They've been saying it. They care nothing about making you a single mother because they feel like if you gave birth to that baby, then that is on you. Now, I was born in 84. I'm 38. How long have they been saying this? That's nearly 40 years. We know they've been saying it for at least 40 years. They've been telling you that you are a single mother because you will not get an abortion. Let's run it again before I get off of here. I needed y'all to hear this. I need y'all to hear this.
It's a big disaster, I guess, because you can't give something that you don't have. In order to give, you got to have for yourself. You see, people out there watching will say, why didn't he think about that before he brought 6 kids into the world? Well, the mother had a choice. She could have had an abortion, or she could have kept the child. She decided whether she wanted to have the child, so therefore, I guess it's not sweating her. I mean, it's not that. You think it's her fault if she gets pregnant? Well, well, maybe, maybe not. Like I said, mama, baby, papa, maybe. You know what I mean?
How long y'all gonna deal with this, Black women? Like for real? For real. I'm over here scratching my head partially because my scalp itches, but I don't know how long you gotta keep going through this. To me, even me being 38 and knowing that this was 2 years before I was born, meaning 2 years after, sorry, 2 years after I was born, meaning this was 36 years ago, that's enough for me. I'm not trying to hear 40 years of dust. This dude literally just said verbatim what you've been hearing these bandits say on these panels. What are Black men teaching other Black men? What have they been teaching other Black men? That you deserve to be a single mother because you should have aborted their babies. Then they want to get up there and say, yeah, you've been saying it for the past 6 years at least. So what do you care? I'm just now catching up. You've been saying it for a good 36 years, nearly 40. You've been sitting up here telling them to abort your kids. Because she had a choice. She could have got an abortion. Mama's baby, papa's maybe, sitting up there looking like a clown. Fix your teeth. Oh yeah, you ain't got no money. So you can't. Because if you can't provide for your kids, you damn kid sure can't get into a dentist and fix them teeth. And somebody saw them teeth and still had a baby by them. And y'all know y'all thought I was gonna leave that one. Y'all thought that I was gonna ignore that one. No, you did not. Y'all did not think I wasn't gonna drill those teeth. How you sitting up there having a kid? I would be afraid that my child was going to inherit them teeth. Ain't no way I would do it. That ain't no way. Ain't no way. There's no way I'm procreating with anybody whose teeth look like that. It's not happening. It is not happening. Absolutely not. And y'all can call that vain. You can call it superficial. I bet you I won't jump in the bed with nobody whose teeth look like that. I bet you I won't. I bet you I won't procreate with nobody whose teeth look like that. I bet you I won't. And yet she sat up here and had 3 kids with this mush mouth, screwed up, crooked teeth bandit. And then for him to sit up there, mind you, this dude was 26, 6 kids by 4 different women. I guess all of them should have aborted him, right? Because he can't take care of them. You ain't heard him or his struggle teeth sit up there and talk about how welfare was a problem. He liked welfare. Black men didn't have no problem with welfare because welfare relieved them of their obligations to financially provide for their children. Just like that bandit sat up there and said, well, welfare is doing what I can't do. And guess what? Even though she on welfare, does it look like he can't be in a home, or do he look like he in a home impregnating her with 3 kids? Because she been on welfare for all her kids. She would, if welfare was putting them out the home, how did she get pregnant by you 2 other times with your struggle teeth? Black men ain't had no problem with welfare until mentioning welfare started hurting their egos. That's when they started having a problem with welfare. Because at the end of the day, if most of your women got to be on welfare, you a nothing ass bitch. That's what that means. Happy birthday, Tanya Harvey. Can y'all give Tanya Harvey a happy birthday shout out? Everybody give Tanya Harvey a happy birthday shout out. I would try to get into some happy birthday, but my voice is starting to struggle. Y'all, I ain't gonna have no voice after that. I know I'm not. I'm not. I'm not gonna have no, I'm not gonna have no. But the only problem that Black men have now with welfare is that all these reports came out talking about Black women welfare cream, and that points directly towards his dust. So they said, oh, well, now we need an excuse to this. The welfare put us out the home. We wasn't in the home. No, you have all these absentee father homes, not because we walked out. Welfare put us out. Welfare put us out. No. Welfare was doing what you wanted it to do. Welfare relieved you from your obligation to financially support your child until child support came around, and now they hate that too. And that's why they turned around and made child support your fault too. Now it's your fault they on child support. Oh, she run into the child support system. Oh, she want to sit up here and get welfare and Section 8 and child support. Anything that reflects poorly on them or highlights the fact that they're broke nothing ass bitches, they go turn it around and try to make it your fault. I bet y'all Black men came up with that welfare queen stereotype. I bet you they did. I bet you they the ones who ran around talking about, oh, she a welfare queen. She a welfare queen. But when you was sitting your raggedy ass up in this video talking about it would be a disaster if welfare wasn't taking care of your kids, you didn't have no problem with welfare though. When you were sitting up getting this woman pregnant, not one, not two, but 3 times, in addition to your 3 other baby mamas, you wouldn't have no problem with no welfare though. Y'all can sit up here and believe that Black men had a problem with welfare. No. And a lot of them still don't got no problem with welfare because they own it. Y'all look up the demographics of who on welfare and you will see Black men on welfare too. They hate welfare so much and it took them out of the home so much that you got a lot of them on it. Go walk into any EBT office and see how many Black men you got in there getting food stamps. Because you don't have to have a kid to get no food stamps. You don't have to have no kid to get no state Medicare. Black men are on welfare, but want to sit up and complain because welfare was doing what they said, what this bandit said he couldn't do. And he wasn't the only one. You go read any report and all of the reports will say the same thing. They were broke, nothing ass bitches, and that's why Black women were on welfare. End of story. They just don't want you talking about it, because it affects their ego. Because while they don't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, and they should, especially in 2023, other men are the ones who created the welfare system that their women have to get on because they can't provide and won't provide. Bandit never once said, oh, I would just go out and get multiple jobs to provide for my family. How many times have you heard him say that? They'll say that Black women shouldn't have been on welfare, but when you ask them what's the alternative, it had nothing to do with them getting a job and providing, not one thing. Have you ever heard them say, oh, well, welfare should go away so that we can be the providers of our community? No. But you have heard them say, oh, welfare should go away so they will submit to me. They don't want to be providers. They don't want to be protectors. They don't want to be fathers. They don't want to be none of that. They hate the notion of them having to provide for even themselves. You will never hear them say Black women shouldn't have took welfare because then we would have provided. Because then I'm gonna pull up all the reports and say where. You were never providing. Don't let them tell you that they were providers and you took welfare. They ain't never been providers, and that's why you had to take welfare. But they would sit up here and keep creating children with multiple women talking about, well, she could have got an abortion. What type of despicable bandits do you have to be? You got to be the world's most despicable bandit to sit up there and keep creating kids that you know damn well you can't provide for. And then tell the women, well, you should have aborted it. Well, you had 2 choices. You could have kept it or you could have aborted it. And they're still saying that in 2023, and y'all still falling for it. They haven't changed because their mindset haven't changed, neither have Black women's. No matter how dusty they are, no matter how derelict they are, you'll keep being with them because at least they can give you Black children. At least you can satisfy your vanity with some of these bandits. It really just ain't worth it. Y'all, did you just say the gingivitis? I'm done. Like, did you really just say the gingivitis bandit? No, them teeth were desperately trying to run up out that mouth. Those teeth said, I don't want to be in a bush mouth anymore. They were trying to escape. His teeth was the first SYSBM movement. The SYSBM movement was started by this bandit's teeth. Timothy's teeth is the first time a Black man tried to save himself. It just wasn't from a Black woman. It was from a Black man's mouth. Them teeth trying to run the hell up out of there. I don't care what y'all say. It just is. His teeth were the original passport bros, only they didn't need a passport to run up out that mouth, though. And she had a kid by him. And that's mostly my beef with her. It's like, okay, that's fine and dandy and all. He sold you a dream. How can he sell you anything with a mouth like that? And she was sitting up in this video kissing him like he don't have these treacherous teeth. Like, please, his mouth is a hostile environment for anybody who gets near him. It's like he don't even need to carry an illegal weapon, just bite him. Like, open your mouth. All you have to do is open your mouth and try to bite him. Okay, y'all, I'm getting off of here, like, for real. It's like his teeth are a deadly weapon, like, for real. Like, I have no time. No. Cynthia Turner. I hate you. I hate you so much for being that. Let me sit there. I hate you. I can't do. Oh my God, like for real. Judy Turner. Y'all, I can't even take it. I can't even do it no more. Judy Turner. That literally that nearly took me all the way out. Yeah, I'm getting out because I gotta go. Y'all, I'm about to pee on myself, and somebody said Judy Turner, then y'all not doing me no favors, like for real. Oh my God, that like took me out. I'm sorry, y'all. That really like took me all the way out. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go because I'm not gonna have no breath again. So that's, I only wanted to show you guys up to there. I'm gonna watch some more of it, and if there's something else on there, I'm pretty sure there's gonna be something else on here that we need to come on here and talk about. Anyway, I'm sure there's gonna be something on here. Y'all just let me look over. I just need to look over this because listen. Listen, y'all, my furniture not here. My light is janky. And so So that's why I'm not on camera, or else I will be on camera, but I don't even have my ring light. So, I mean, I'm about to get off of here. That was funny, Toothy Turner. I'm about to get off of here, but I'll see y'all in the next video. Thanks to everyone who's super chatted. I really appreciate it. And jokes aside, I really hope y'all got something out of this. I really hope that somebody learned something from what's going on here, other than how to be a toothy bandit. Hopefully you guys get something out of this, because I gotta go give my voice a rest, or else I ain't gonna have no more to do no content tomorrow. So I'm gonna get off of here, and I will see y'all in the next video. Y'all have a good Thursday. Bye.